Hey folks, welcome to another advisory. Hope you guys are all doing well. The next couple of days in our advisory classes, we are going to either be creating for the first time or revisiting our treatment agreements. We did this once at the beginning of the year, but I always think that it is important with something like a treatment agreement to revisit it periodically throughout the year, especially when we are starting a new semester. I want to start with this quote from Maya Angelou, who's a renowned writer and activist. She said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." How you make people feel is all about how you treat them whenever you come into contact with them. How people make you feel is all about how they treat you. And so if we want to be a good friend or a good student or a good employee at a company or really just a good person in general, we have to think very intently about how we are treating each other, how we treat others and how they treat us. That in mind, we are going to be either creating for the first time or revisiting our treatment agreements from the fall. We've done this already, and so you might have already one hanging up in your classroom, but if not, that's okay. That's what we're here to do now. So there are really four main parts to a treatment agreement. And these first three represent all of the different types of relationships within a classroom environment. The first is student to student. And so you'll have an opportunity to talk about how we as students want to treat each other. What are the expectations for how I treat others in the classroom and how they treat me? The second consideration is student to teacher. What does it look like for the students to treat the teacher well? Which is very important because even though they are the teacher and the authority and the adult in the room, they still have feelings and they still are a person. And so we still want to be intentional about how we want to treat them. The third consideration is teacher to student. You as a student will have a say in how you expect the teacher to treat you as the student. What does it look like for a teacher to be respectful? What does it look like for a teacher to create a safe environment? This is your opportunity to maybe lay out some of those expectations or ground rules. So these are the three different types of relationships that you'll be writing about how we want to treat each other, how we want these people to treat each other. And the last question that your class as a whole needs to answer is, what do we do to make it right when those things don't happen? Everybody in the classroom is a human, and humans make mistakes. Instead of avoiding those mistakes or sweeping them under the rug, we want to be able to learn from them. And so when one of those parts of the agreement are not followed, or if something happens to break those rules or expectations, you need to have some sort of process for what you're going to do when those things don't happen. It's really about how do you think that we should handle conflict when it inevitably comes up. And by the end of the process, your treatment agreement should look something similar to this. You might have some version of this hanging up in the classroom. If you don't, you definitely should, because I think it's important for folks to look up on the wall and see, oh yeah, that's what we agreed upon. This is what we've already talked about. This is how folks should be in this class. So whether you're making a treatment agreement for the first time or you are the returning class and you've already done one of these in the fall, there is a process for you in the slides after this video. So go ahead and start on that. Be good to yourself and others, and I'll talk to you real soon.